So, I would like to basically talk about the current economic situation, and I would like to cover some important points and some steps that the government could take in improving the current economic situation. The very first step I personally feel is to reduce the personal income taxes in the country because it because the taxes are a huge burden for many people and it always discourages them to pay. So we need to do in such a way that it slightly reduces the burden in them and they are comfortable in paying the taxes. So this could be a short-term policy initiative. So in the medium term, government should always look at big bang reforms. Big bang reforms in the sense, I mean, to reduce the stress in the industry. So some specific reforms could be brought about in each sector in such a way that it reduces the little bit of stress that is present in them. For example, in the airlines industries, GST could be brought in petroleum, crude oil, natural gas by providing a tax rate of 18%. I know the state's revenue will get hit, but in the long term, it's actually going to benefit them a lot because airlines industry becomes competitive, and when competition is there, automatically more revenue will be generated. More people will use airlines. Automatically, government can get the requisite revenue that's required for them to contain the fiscal deficit. So, in the medium term, they should always look at these such reforms because for the economy to sustain, the government should intervene and we can't just leave them like that. And in the long term, I basically feel the government should always look in improving our education system because our education system is so bad, so pathetic. That's why many people always do a higher education in other countries and don't wish to do here. And it's too costly for many Indians. So the government should improve the system in such a way that it is easily accessible, good knowledge is provided, and the requisite skills that are required matches with the industrial needs and wants. Because I've talked to many friends and they have been putting forth this point that what they study and what is happening in the current world is not completely not correlated to each other. So that gap should be stopped, or that gap should be narrowed down such a way that people are aware as to what they are studying and what they're going to do in the future. The government could always look at reducing the black money that's there in an economy, because when you see the black money in an economy, it runs in trillions, and that's something which we can ill afford to look at. Therefore, the government should discourage accumulation of black money by providing alternative investment model for them, thereby saying if you invest in startups or if you invest this said money in rural development, you would be given a tax cut of 78% based on your investment model and based on the jobs that you help in creating. So this could maybe, I don't know, if could encourage some of these people to put money in that. Or the government has a company called National Institute of Infrastructure Fund. Maybe they could ask them to invest there more, because they handle they buy all these stressed infrastructure projects, and they could say if you invest so much amount in the company, we will provide you a tax cut of a 7-8%, which could encourage them to invest more. With more capital, they'll automatically be more jobs be created, so there'll be a good circular flow in the economy, which will help us in the medium term and in the long term also. Yes, I personally feel that interest rates are high. Interest rates could be reduced. So this could be some small steps that could be taken. Then basically, as I would like to suggest, our cities can't handle the stress in the population. Therefore, the government could look at creating model cities in all the 29 states. Sustainable city, proper roads, proper drainage system in such a way that with even population explosion, the city can handle the stress. So government should look at creating such model cities in each and every nook and corner of the country. They could invite many companies to invest in those cities. When good infrastructure is created, automatically company will be attracted to invest and they will not say no. A good platform should be created. A proper land acquisition model too should be channeled, because land acquisition is the biggest hurdle to infrastructure development. Environment concerns should be taken equally and how they could be addressed. So yes, equally trees could be planted. Same way industries could be set up. And proper conservation of flora and fauna also could be done. So a proper land acquisition model is very much necessary, so that the party who gives away his land does not feel that he is not being compensated well. And that's the biggest problem is happening in this country, because whenever government wants to acquire land, there is huge protest, and to avoid such protests, equal say should be given to that party also. And you can't just have a unilateral move and damage the other party. That's not the right way to do or to commence any infrastructure projects. So these steps should be taken. And basically I feel the government should always look at attracting foreign investments. For this, it needs to create a good, effective logistics. It should look at reducing the transportation cost. It should invite startups to come up with solutions. It could provide them more funding. It could abolish the so-called angel tax. It could reduce their burden so that they feel free in investing the capital. And it's going to benefit a lot. More jobs will be created. Second, the government should streamline and improve the skill development program. More courses could be introduced. Many unemployed people could be re-employed, but providing the requisite skills that the industries currently want. And the government could have a tie-up with big companies like JP Morgan, the Citigroup, etc. Those people could maybe the government and big industries could have a MOU or a form of understanding in such a way that they could form a policy in this one skill development, how to tackle this unemployment issue, how can we bridge this technology human gap. So these should be thought about, and you can't just turn a blind eye to such issues, because it's very important that our economy is competitive. We are able to match big other countries like America, China, and we need to create an effective investment model in such a way the companies look India as another source of investment destination than China. That should be the model. Next, agriculture. I feel there's so many. I've seen so many agriculturists excel, but many people commit suicide. It's not their mistake, because they are not being provided the requisite knowledge idea about the crop pattern. The government should always invite startups in covering each new corner of the country on how and help the farmers in improve their income, because it's important. It's impossible. The government can't reach each and every corner, but the industries can reach up to them. They can connect with the locals. They can help them improve their livelihood. Then that time we can actually reach a 5 trillion economy. And maybe all things require an effective policy. The government should always look at creating such policies. And these are forms. This will actually have a huge impact in the near future. Proper tax policies are required. Reducing the burden on people is very much required. Making it a tax friendly nation is should be government's very important motive, or I would like to say a policy motive. So if these steps are taken, automatically I feel our economy can grow leaps and bounds, and some more streamlining of policies, improving the ease of doing business will surely make us a 5 trillion economy. Thank you so much.